In this video, we're going to talk about how we can make keys or data indexes so that it's easier for us to pull data and set data up for other uses. So I have the data set here, Crumble Cookies, and I've got the NPS ratings for Crumble Cookies. Unfortunately, the way that NPS categories work is that it takes 0 to 6 as category 1 or category detractor. It takes 7 and 8 as neutral or category 2, and then it takes 9 and 10 as promoter or category 3. Now, if I were to type in, and do a key based on text, I won't be able to do any mathematics against it. So what I'm going to do is create a key where detractor is category 1, neutral is category 2, and promoter is category 3. And why I'm doing this in this order is because the higher the score, the more positive the sentiment from the audience. So that will make sense when we want to do a correlation. If we say, what's the correlation between the category 1, 2, 3 and income, let's just say, or children at home, it'll work mathematically for us. If I were to just put text like detractor, neutral, and promoter as the key, we wouldn't be able to do any of that. So let's go ahead here. I created a new category called NPS category key as a sheet. And we're going to go in here and we're going to put the score, or actually let's copy exactly the rating so that we know exactly what we're doing here. So we're going to go with 0. Remember, it starts with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, if you have more data than that, I'll just show you here. You can actually grab this. We'll just paste over this. And we can grab all of our data, because maybe in your particular data set or your term project, it's not as simple as 0 to 10. So we'll go to remove duplicates. After highlighting all that, we'll hit OK. And now we've got our data. Note that there is NAs in the data set, so we'd want to get rid of those. I believe there's 4, but double check. Just get rid of that. It's not going to be helpful. And so what we want to do now is we want to create that category. So NPS rating category. Now, the other thing you want to be careful of is the remove duplicates action. Remove duplicates, but it showed it back. So you've got 9 and 10 and 7. It reproduced it based in that order that it first saw it. So what we want to do is we want to go up to sort and make sure we sort that in chronological order so that it's easier for us to do our work here. Now, as I said before, I could put detractor for all of these, and promoter, which is nice. Maybe you want that in a business context because people aren't going to want to know what's category 2 mean. So maybe that's the approach you want to do, but you can't do any math on this. You can't do a correlation function because this is text. So keep that in mind that you might want to keep this for business conversations, but we're going to move along with the lesson here. So we got 1 and there, 2, 2, 3, 3. So there's our key. Now we go over here to our regular data set, NPS rating category for Crumble Cookies. Now that's a lot of text there for a column. So we do a VLOOKUP there against the original rating. We go over here and we do that. We bring back the second column, do 0, and now we have our rating columns. Now keep in mind we want to copy paste special value that so that we don't have to worry about sortation and filters and all kinds of goofy stuff. But what I want you to see now, we'll extend this filter here and go down here. And sometimes Excel thinks it's smarter than you, so just be careful. Get rid of those columns there. And that one too. Okay. Sometimes you have to clean up your spreadsheet. Now look, we have NAs down there. Before, we didn't have any NAs like that. We had this type. So this is a situation where we want to get rid of these. We just want to get rid of it. Okay. So just dump it, get rid of it. Okay. So now what we have is a clean data set where we can do a correlation on the category itself as opposed to just the rating, which is very sparse. It's got a lot of variation in it. But as you know, based on the reading for this assignment, net present score has its own category system of 3 categories there. Now, some people argue, I don't want to complicate this, but some people argue that this should be a 0 category. And you should now have, if you had this as a function still, we did not pay special value like we previously did, it would reflect on that. So your zeros would have a 0 category and you'd have actually 4 categories. Don't do that for this assignment. Just know that it's out there and you might want to play around with that kind of stuff in your project. Maybe something isn't working quite right based on an industry standard. Well, if you have a good reason for modifying it, make sure you document it in your data science lab reports and things like that, but also try the industry standard first. So now we can do a correlation between these. And let's go over to income, grab income. Now remember, if you do this and you get an error like that, it's because you didn't match up over here. See R2, M1? We have to change that to an M2 so that we're not getting that first column there, or row of data. So now we have 25.4%. So I would say 24%. Now let's do a correlation between the actual rating. And I know I'm not doing this the best data inc ratio format, but I just want the data here. And we've got this now. Now I would argue they're the same number, slightly different. You see that there? Now, this is based on 500 rows of data, a variation of 10 units, of 11 units actually, with that 0 in there, and a breakthrough rating of 3. So the numbers are very similar. I cannot guarantee that that will be true all the time. But you can see it does change. It's not the exact same number. It's just a little bit of a difference there. So that's how you combine data using a key here. You could do the same thing over here with the states, which I've done. If I unhide key sheet here, if I want to create a key for the states, so we've got 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 all the way for these states right here, and then we've got 2s for the rest. I could easily insert, state ID. I'm doing a VLOOKUP. Bring that over, and now I have a number here. And that's very useful if you want to focus. Let's say you only wanted to split your data, or you wanted to focus on a certain segment of your population. Now you can say, I want people in my target market only. I want to study them separately. So I have 36 rows of data because I got rid of 4 rows there. And now I can study these more closely rather than, the alternative is sitting there and unchecking these, right? Like, remember, okay, where's Minnesota? Where's Minnesota? Oh, oop, I found Illinois. Shoot, there's Minnesota. Oh, I forgot to uncheck everything. See how sloppy that is? Whereas if you create a data index with a key format, you can easily pull that data how you want.